Every single time I make a video and I talk about something that Boogie did, people complain. It's like, why are you talking about him? Why are you talking about Boogie? I was dissing on Boogie before it was cool, okay? I even got flack for dissing on him because back then he had this lovable and adorable persona and I was criticizing and people were like, oh my god, what are you doing, right? So don't give me that stuff. Don't tell me. No, look, if the man says something that makes sense, we should look at it, and if it does make sense, then we should give him credit for it. So, he's going around, talking about Gamergate 2.0 recently, and he does bring some really great points, like this one, for instance. He did a little research, and as far as I can tell, the majority of video games are still purchased by white men. Now, this is the interesting part, right? Because you're not allowed to talk about this issue. Like the game journalists and the game developers, like they constantly have this derangement, this unholy obsession with the white man. Like they think it's the greatest evil in the world, and if a game is made by white men, that's problematic. If a game has only white characters, that's problematic, right? Like, notice how the Japanese, the Chinese, and the South Koreans who make video games like don't have this problem, and they're making money. Right? Like they're not focusing on that. Instead, they're focusing on making something entertaining. Meanwhile, the West is staffed by these upper bourgeois twats that grew up in communities where everyone looks like them. They never seen a minority in their entire life. And they don't even know how to interact with a minority like a normal human being. Like they think all these minorities that they require them to run a crusade in their name and to champion them, and that's going to be their greatest life achievement, right? And they're forming like these grifting companies that are intimidating corporations in order to hire them as consultants, and it's a clusterfuck, right? But you would say, well, is it working though? Like are minorities more pleased with the video gaming industry since the almighty consultants descended upon us? And as Bookie finds out, the answer is no. No, in the last 10 years, the diversity, equity, and inclusion representation didn't make even a significant change in the demographics. It's no fucking wonder. I mean, dude, look at YouTube. Look at YouTube, right? What do black creators do? What do? They watch anime, they make anime reviews. Like some of the biggest anime review channel, all black people, right? As far as I know, Japan doesn't hire consultants in order to figure out how they can be more inclusive, how to make people see themselves when they're watching anime, right? They don't do any of that shit. They're playing Nikkei. Like right now, I'm playing Nikkei, right? So I'm looking at people that talk about it. Black people. They're watching South Korean stuff. They don't, like they don't want to touch the Western garbage, which allegedly is made for them. But I got newsflash, black people like women with big tits, big asses, and they like guns too. It's kind of like the same like everyone else. So you have these consultants, and whenever they get into a game, it's like, oh, look at that woman. Can you nerf her tits? Do the budget cuts. Give her the Californian man jaw. Body type A, body type B. No one likes that shit, Like it's almost like they're making games for them. It's like, sell it to your bourgeois twats then, and make money with them. I'm not going to buy a Dakimakura with Abby from The Last of Us. Jesus fucking Christ. Get her off my t-shirt. I don't want merchandise with her. Right? So... As you can see here, there is research that shows that a lot of gamers identify as male. Now, take into account they're also using phone games for this research. I always thought this is disingenuous. And I remember like this argument came back in 2016 and it was sounding like, you're an elitist. Your definition of gamers doesn't include people who play phone games. And that's not the point. You're not criticizing phone games. Right, like all these game journalists, all these consultants, they're not criticizing phone games. They're not criticizing what used to be on Facebook. At the time, it was Smallville. It was very popular, right? They weren't criticizing that. They're not criticizing Candy Crush. They're not criticizing Tetris. No, they're criticizing Call of Duty. They're criticizing Overwatch, right? Like criticizing the PC games. And when it comes to PC gaming. Yeah, unironically, I'm sorry to say this, but one of the biggest demographics Is the straight white man that's playing these games. And what they do is like they find out what the straight white man wants and they give it the exact opposite. Like literally the exact opposite. It's like, what do we want? It's very simple what we want. We want tits and violence. It's not that complicated. That's what we desire in our entertainment. We don't want porn, by the way, but we want lewdness. You know, like America used to do in the 90s with all of the X-Men and all of the comics, right? Lewdness, right? Not porn. No, we know where to find the porn. Like if you want to, we know where to get it for free. But in our video games, we don't want that. We want lewdness. Like Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is a perfect example. Nier Automata, another perfect example, right? We just don't want the Californian man jaw everywhere we look. We don't want the androgyny. The androgyny has to be in every single video game. The mental illness haircut, the half-shaved buzz head, the body type A, body type B. Can we cut with this nonsense? Like it's absolutely disgusting. And if it's not too much to ask, like this would be just a little extra. We don't like it when game developers are harassing gamers, right? Like we don't want like when the game developer comes and the straight white man. Keep your fucking opinions to yourself, right? Because you love the straight white man. When it gives you cash, when it gives you money, you absolutely love it, right? But we're not your pay piggies. We're not like the type where you take our money and you insult us. Like if you have your opinions, that's fine. You know, keep them to yourself. But take into account that hatred doesn't sell. I don't care how you justify it. I don't care how you rationalize it. But being a hateful bigot doesn't really sell. It's not a good idea. This is seriously just look. The Japanese don't do it. Like if the Japanese can go on Twitter without saying negative things about the gaijin, surely you as a very enlightened and important game developer, you can keep your opinions to yourself. I mean, as I'm showing it on the screen, is the chief of sales for Xbox for Microsoft. It's like, why are they saying this? Why did they go out of there? No one is asking them. No one. Oh, all of a sudden, out of the blue, like they decide to tweet that shit towards their customers. Why though? It's just like the latest example. Because if I were to go and search, it would probably take me an entire day just to display all of them from various game developers. It's like a mental illness. I genuinely don't get it. Like, show me on this doll where the white man touched you. Especially when you're appealing to a global audience, right? So you're like, you don't like Europe, you don't like Australia, you don't like America, you don't like... What do you like, huh? Interesting question. I'm generally curious, like, what games do these people play? Do you feel like the people who made Forspoken play it? I would really like to know. I would genuinely like to know, or was it like a chore? You know, they would go to the office and it's like, oh shit, I gotta play this shit again. To beta test it or internally test it, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.